Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Wednesday's Look North. On the programme tonight, the former Sheffield Hallam MP Jarrad O'Mara found guilty of defrauding his constituents. When elected, he promised to stand up for them.
This is something which fills me with immense pride, and it is an honour for me to have the chance to represent our country's disabled people in addition to serving my constituents.
There are now questions about how he was selected in the first place. Also tonight, a couple from Leeds wait anxiously for news of their loved ones caught up in the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. A mother's concerned for her children's health as Leeds City Council discusses a huge rise in reports of mould and damp.
And Happy Valley might be done, but the glamour of drama hasn't left West Yorkshire just yet. We've got a brand new series for you called Better, and we're at the premiere in Leeds tonight.
And it's been another lovely day, hasn't it? More sunshine on Thursday, but what about Friday and the weekend? Will this weather last? Join me to find out.
Hello, thanks for your company this evening. He came into office in 2017, promising to represent his constituents in Westminster and to be a friend and ally to them. Today, Jarrad O'Mara, the former Sheffield Hallam MP, found guilty of fraud at Leeds Crown Court for submitting fake expenses to fund his cocaine habit. Tonight, we'll look back at his short-lived political career and we'll get reaction from the constituency he represented. But first, Tom Airy sent this from court.
An absentee MP. That's how former staff and a co-defendant described Jarrad O'Mara during his trial. For long spells of his time as Sheffield Hallam's MP in Parliament, when he was paid £80,000 a year to represent 70,000 constituents, his trial heard he simply wasn't around. He was also absent at Leeds Crown Court, instead electing to listen in from his lounge via video link. And when offered the chance to give evidence in his defence, he turned it down. But those in the witness box painted a picture of a man struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, mental health issues and a job he never thought he'd gain in the first place. And in April 2019, workers in his Sheffield constituency office said they were either sacked by O'Mara for no clear reason or wanted to leave due to his erratic behaviour. Amid the turmoil, a new team was created by O'Mara, made up of people not from a political background, but from his social circle. Co-defendant John Woodliff, a former doorman from West Street Live, a music venue where O'Mara DJ'd, was recruited as a so-called constituency support officer. He was cleared of any wrongdoing after the trial. The court heard co-defendant Gareth Arnold became chief of staff, helping O'Mara, who has cerebral palsy and autism, to submit expenses claims to IPSA, a regulator which monitors MPs' finances. But several of these invoices, claiming for thousands of pounds, were lacking in any detail. The company name on the invoices, Confident About Autism South Yorkshire, didn't come up with any results on search engines. The postcode on the invoices was that of a Sheffield McDonald's. None of the invoices were paid out by IPSA, with O'Mara's defence team claiming it was incompetence rather than dishonesty. But the prosecution proved it was in fact both. They told the court Jarrad O'Mara viewed IPSA and the taxpayers' money that they administered as a source of income that was his to claim and use as he wished, not least in the enjoyment of his extensive cocaine habit. Arnold later went to South Yorkshire Police and told them what had been going on in a phone call.
And I also believe that he has been submitting fake expense claims to the government very recently.
Have you got any proof of that?
Yes, I'm his chief of staff, and he is a member of Parliament.
Jarrad O'Mara showed little visible reaction when verdicts came in Court 11 this afternoon. O'Mara and Gareth Arnold are due to be sentenced here at Leeds Crown Court tomorrow morning, with the ex-MP due to appear for the very first time. Tom Airy, BBC Look North.
Well, a lot of detail there in Tom Airy's report. Let's go now to our political editor, James Vincent. He's in the Sheffield Hallam constituency for us tonight with all the reaction. James, it's over to you. A lot to cover.
Yeah, Amy, this is one of the most unbelievable cases I've ever covered in 20 years of covering politics as a journalist. An MP on £80,000 a year. The court heard he spent that salary on cocaine, cigarettes and alcohol. An MP who stood up in the House of Commons and said he was the first member of Parliament with autism, saying he'd stand up for people with autism. But the court hearing he'd created a fake autism charity to try and defraud the public. And even before Jared O'Mara was charged with fraud, his story was pretty unbelievable. When Jared O'Mara was elected, it was a surprise.
21,881.
It was a surprise to Nick Clegg, who lost to him.
Any further comment, Nick?
No. I've just spoken. Thank you very much.
It was a surprise to the Labour Party that had chosen him, and it was a surprise to O'Mara himself.
Surprise to a lot of damn right.
He had to borrow his dad's blazer for his first appearance on stage.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank my new constituents. That sounds weird, sorry. Everybody who has a physical disability like me or has any illness, I will be on your side. I will be on your ally and friend and champion in Westminster. Let's all go on this journey together, guys. Thank you very much.
He celebrated that night, saying he stayed out until 6 in the morning. Only a few hours later, a hasty first press appearance had been arranged.
I can't believe the turnout here. It's so short notice. A lot of people in Hallam have wanted to see a local lad that's lived in the constituency and that's been to school here at Tapton where I did my A-levels and that cares. And I do care, I really do.
He was hailed as a fresh voice for Sheffield, describing himself as the first autistic MP, as well as having cerebral palsy and other disabilities.
This is something which fills me with immense pride, and it is an honour for me to have the chance to represent our country's disabled people, in addition to serving my constituents.
This is his first speech in Parliament, but the unusual thing about it was that it was over a year after he was first elected.
I promised that I would do my utmost to help all those in need of help within my constituency and to champion the cause of equality.
In the last few
this
minutes,
is
the
why.
Labour Party has announced that it's launched an investigation into the behaviour of its MP for Sheffield Hallam.
The investigation was into comments he'd made online when he was younger, sexist and homophobic comments found after he was elected and ones he apologised for. He was suspended from Labour, then reinstated, but he resigned, sitting for the rest of the Parliament as an independent.
And I thank you very much for listening to this speech.
After closing his office here in 2019, Jared O'Mara took on a new team. With that team in place, he tried to relaunch his political career. Part of that was an interview with me for BBC Look North.
The first question is the easiest one, Jared, so we can get a level on your voice. Tell us who you are and what job you do, please.
My name is Jared Kane O'Mara MP, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Sheffield Hallam constituency.
The court heard he'd drunk a litre of vodka before that interview.
So, first of all then, Jared, new office. How are you feeling about the next stage of being an MP?
Do you know what? I said to you earlier, James, it's exactly like a rebirth. Like, I feel like a phoenix from the flames, reborn from the ashes, and that is exclusively not thanks to me, thanks to my new staff. They just fill me with confidence, they put up with me being an idiot, and which a lot of constituents will agree with.
In terms of the way that you've represented your constituents, some have suggested that you should stand down. What do you say to them?
Give all yourself, yeah? I'm going nowhere, and I'm here for you whether you want me here for you or not.
Days later, one of his former staff members accused him of sexual harassment, sending text messages to her after she'd started working for him. It had left her in tears. Parliamentary authorities found he broke Parliament's sexual misconduct rules. He did not appeal against their findings. Jared O'Mara was arrested in August 2019. Officers here searched for computers and paperwork. 2 years later, he was charged with fraud. By that point, he was no longer an MP, having stood down before the 2019 general election. Today, the former Sheffield Hallam MP has been convicted of fraud. Instead of serving his constituents, he was trying to steal from them. For 2 years, since 2017 to 2019, Jared O'Mara represented this part of Sheffield, and one of the big questions for constituents was he doing his job properly? Several of them complained. One of them that complained to the parliamentary authorities was Jodie Garth.
So meeting these people kind of made me realise that it wasn't just about getting a voice in Parliament, it was about having someone to go to. There was one woman who was struggling with a case of domestic abuse. At the political time, there was so much going on. No one was representing us, and it was just so frustrating.
Another really big question for the Labour Party tonight is how did Jared O'Mara get selected as a candidate in the first place? Labour won't talk to us on the record about that today, but I've been speaking to a lot of people who were around at the time and were involved in the process, and it seems to be a mixture of lax selection processes on behalf of Labour, but also the time constraints of that snap general election in 2017. Labour had asked previous candidates if they wanted to stand again. They declined. Jared O'Mara wasn't interviewed for the position. I understand he'd been interviewed for a potential position on the council before, and he was selected. Of course, there was only 7 weeks while that general election had been called until polling day, and Labour suggested that it wasn't a seat that they thought that they could win. But the majority of Nick Clegg in 2017 was only just over 2,000, so it's a seat they could have taken. They'd knocked 13,000 off his majority in the previous election. There are questions being raised about what Labour should have done to properly select a candidate.
I think the Labour Party have got some serious questions to ask. Why did he get selected for a seat which they came within a whisker of getting back in 2015? And then when it was clear he was struggling, why didn't they put in extra support, both for him as an individual, but also for the people of Sheffield Hallam, so they at least had a Labour MP that was seen to be functioning and working on their behalf?
People here in Crosspool and the rest of Sheffield Hallam, of course, have a new MP now. Olivia Blake was elected in 2019. As for the future of their former MP, Jared O'Mara, well, he will find out his future tomorrow at Leeds Crown Court for his sentencing.
And of course, we will be there, James. Thank you. Let's turn your attention now to the devastating earthquake. A Turkish couple now living in Leeds say their hometown has been wiped off the map after Monday's earthquake, which killed at least 11,000 people. Servet Ozimir and his wife Silla are still waiting for news on some of their missing friends and relatives. They say the UK government must do more to help. Nicola Rees has been to meet them.
Where is it, Servet? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I cannot realize neighborhoods that I grew up there.
Yeah, we can't even recognize which part of the town.
Servet and Silla got married in their hometown of Gulbasha only last summer. The scale of this disaster is difficult to comprehend.
It's horrific. The buildings, the town is gone. It's not there anymore. It's almost like it's gone off the map.
The half of the town is already gone. Half of the people is already passed away, and even their dead bodies is not reachable. Can you imagine this?
From their apartment in Leeds, they've been desperately trying to find out about friends and family in the Adıyaman province of Turkey, one of the worst affected by Monday's earthquakes.
There are people who are my distant relatives and friends, and these are the people that I know I grew up with. They are dead, and some of them are trapped under these buildings. And yeah, we need to help them.
I have mom, mother, father and brother. Thanks God they were able to survive. I have people I was going to school together when I hear the news that they passed away with their babies. So this is just like, I cannot even tell that this is heartbreaking. It's just like something no one can imagine.
Search teams from all over the world are travelling to help, but Servet and Silla want the UK to do more.
Manpowers, the tents, shelters, whatever they can be getting, it will be appreciated from our side.
I feel helpless. I feel like if I could be there and help those people out, but I can't.
I cannot imagine that everything has changed.
A hometown reduced to rubble. A lifetime of memories wiped out. Nicola Rees, BBC Look North, Leeds.
A Yorkshire fundraiser for an international relief charity is appealing for support to help those that have been affected by the devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. Human Appeal already has around 200 staff in the affected areas, and more are on the way. Fahad Khan spoke to me a little earlier about the rescue operation.
It's a very difficult situation. So Human Appeal has been on the ground for over 10 years in both Turkey and in northwest Syria. We have staff members that have been made homeless. We have staff members that have lost loved ones. Their own family members are under the rubble. We did lose a staff member yesterday as well. And this morning we got news that one of our security guards that looks after our Al Iman hospital in northwest Syria, as he was evacuating people from the hospital, went past his own home and saw that it had been demolished, or had just, had crumbled under the earthquake, and sadly he lost his wife and his child in that rubble as well.
I'm so sorry to hear that. How many people do you have on the ground, and what are they actually doing?
So we have around 40 staff members in Turkey and over 200 staff members in northwest Syria. What they're doing at the moment is they're trying to provide the support to the rescue workers as well as people that are coming out of the rubble, people that have been made homeless. Over the next couple of days we'll be distributing over 31,000 food parcels to people that have been left homeless, that have nothing left. We're also distributing hygiene kits. Medical care is very difficult to access, so we're making sure that people have access to hygiene. Winter kits as well, which will include things like blankets, warm clothing. The temperature's dropping into the minuses, so we're trying our best to provide as much support as we can.
It's hard to not watch the images and feel compelled to want to do something to help. What can the people of Yorkshire do?
Donate as much as you can, really. I know we're living in difficult times, but whatever people are able and willing to donate, they can go to www.humanappeal.org.uk and donate on our website. Our appeal is live there. And if they want to actually fundraise for themselves, fundraisers like myself can help put together events and do something locally.
Thank you for your time, and all our best wishes to your team out there.
Thank you, Amy.
OK, let's have a look at some other stories coming into our newsroom this evening. A man's been jailed for life for the murder of his partner at their home in West Yorkshire. Charlie Booth, who's 27, attacked Lauren Howe, who was 26, at a house in Tennis Way in Belden last July. Leeds Crown Court heard that her injuries were so severe they would usually have been seen in victims of a car crash. Booth was found guilty of murder and jailed for life with a minimum term of 15.5 years. His Majesty the King and Queen Consort will be in York for their first Royal Maundy service this Easter. The service at York Minster will take place on the 6th of April. 74 men and 74 women will be thanked for their Christian service, a number linked to the monarch's age. The King visited the city last November. The late Queen performed the Maundy service twice in York, most recently in 2012 during her Diamond Jubilee year. Leeds City Council has been meeting to discuss the huge rise in reports of damp and mould in homes. Now, there's been an increase of 120% since the publicity surrounding the death of a toddler in Rochdale who was exposed to mould. Our social affairs correspondent Emma Glasby has been to meet another parent concerned that her children's health is suffering because of their living conditions.
This is my children's bedroom where two of my eldest are currently staying and my youngest used to stay up until I've noticed all this in the bedroom as well. The furniture's only been there since middle of December. You can see how wet the woodwork is and it just seeps through. I'm cleaning it every couple of days.
Leanne lives in this council house in Leeds with her 3 children. 2 of them have disabilities. She won't let them use the bathroom because of the black mould. Instead, she takes them to her mum's house nearby.
I think it's disgusting the way they've treated me and how long they've actually kept it like this for. Knowing full well I've got 3 children and 2 of them are actually disabled. They've got very complex needs.
Leanne's 8-year-old daughter has several health conditions. A doctor from Leeds Teaching Hospitals has now written to the council concerned the mould is possibly triggering her eczema.
She's already on various medications. She's been in and out of hospital all her life, basically. I'm pretty sure she's got asthma, but she ain't diagnosed with that as yet.
You've got the heating on, I can see that you're ventilating, so you're trying all of those things.
Yeah, it just seems like I've got my heating on for no reason at all though, really, because I've got all my windows open. I'm angry at the fact that they keep turning up with a tub of paint to paint over it and they just think that's acceptable when it's not, really. They need to get to the root of the problem.
In recent weeks, there's been a huge increase in reports of mould after the publicity surrounding the death of toddler Awab Ishak in Rochdale. In Leeds, a dedicated team's been set up, and today the council met to discuss how it's trying to get on top of the problems.
How concerned is the council that there are quite a few families living in unhealthy conditions at the moment?
Well, I mean, obviously very concerned, hence we got this robust action plan in place, and the report is going to executive board. We could have just done this quietly, but we want to kind of highlight, get the information out in public domain. It's one of our top priorities going forward.
But some families in the city are still living in unsuitable homes. Leeds City Council told us Leane's housing needs are a priority due to overcrowding and the medical needs. It says the damp and mould team will carry out an assessment of the property and will ensure necessary works are completed. Emma Glasby, BBC Look North, Leeds.
A bit of sports news for you. Huddersfield Town's failure to win at Blackpool last night has cost their head coach his job. Mark Fotheringham has been sacked by the Terriers, having only been in the job for 4 months. Town twice led in their match at Blackpool, but twice conceded equalisers in a frantic finish to their 2-2 draw. Huddersfield remain in the relegation zone. Now, are you having withdrawal symptoms from Happy Valley? Well, fear not, fresh from the success of the BBC drama, the first episode of a new thriller, also filmed in West Yorkshire, is about to start on BBC One. It's called Better, and tonight a screening is taking place at the Everyman Cinema in Leeds. Tom Ingle has been mixing with the stars of the show on the red carpet.
Are you missing Happy Valley? Well, don't fret. There is a brand new BBC One drama called Better, set in West Yorkshire, premiering in Leeds tonight. We're going to meet the cast very shortly, but first, here's a sneak peek at the trailer.
I've done bad things, but I'm not sure I can do it anymore.
You gave up your right to a clear conscience when you started taking his money.
Police!
I suppose.
I would tell myself I was still a good copper. He's got to go down. I'll be better.
I'm joined now by some of the writers and stars of Better. Let's start with Andrew, first of all. What can we expect from this series?
It's a script like no other, I'd say. I don't think it's your typical take on a cop drama or a crime drama. It's a very character-driven piece. Lots of twists and turns, a huge morality tale, redemption tale.
Sam, how important is West Yorkshire to this story?
Hugely important. We wanted to find somewhere to give a unique identity to this show, and West Yorkshire gave us that, particularly the city of Leeds, which is the literal and spiritual home. And once we settled on Leeds as its home, it was about finding as many brilliant people to put into the cast, to put into the crew, to give it a completely unique and total flavour of the city. It's absolutely crucial as a backdrop, as a voice, as a sense of humour. It's been a brilliant home for the show.
Can you tell me a bit about your character, please?
I play Lou Slack, who by day is a detective with a very settled family life, but has a dark secret and leads a duplicitous life, and at some point has to have a reckoning with her conscience.
First episode is on Monday night, 9 o'clock on BBC One. Could we have another big West Yorkshire hit on our hands? Proof is in the pudding. Let's watch and see.
Oh, it looks good, doesn't it? That's going to get us through the winter, Paul.
That's great for Monday night. We'll be on the late shift as well. We can watch it together, can't we?
We can. Feet up on the desk.
Let me show you a couple of pictures that you've sent in. Last 24 hours, that was a beautiful sky altocumulus there taken by Tom in Yeadon. And this next one is really lovely. They're waxwings. I've seen one in my garden, and they have in the past been a signal of colder weather. The winter of 62-63 was famously predicted by Bill Foggett, the Yorkshire weatherman, amateur weatherman, because the waxwings had come in from Scandinavia and Siberia. So take a look in your garden. You might well see a rare waxwing. And if you've got any pictures, Twitter, Instagram and the Weather Watcher website, send them to me. I'll put them on the television. Now, the headline for the next 24 hours is more blue sky and sunshine. This spell of weather just continues. There will be some patchy cloud later in the west. And I think as we head into the weekend, we'll see a little bit more in the way of cloud. There could be a bit of drizzle across the Pennines on Friday morning, but for most of us it's dry and bright, and the best of the sunshine always in eastern areas this weekend. Now, there's the satellite picture. You can just pick out some very thin cloud that made the sunshine a little on the hazy side, especially across North and West Yorkshire. And not for the first time this week, the best of the sunshine has been across South Yorkshire. Now, we've got a weak weather front that will bring some patchy rain down from the northwest for a time tonight. It's clear by dawn, and we'll see a touch of frost rurally down to 0 Celsius. That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So tomorrow's high water times end in Scarborough at 6:18 and again at 6:23. So a beautiful start again in the morning, a bit on the chilly side, a touch of frost, but it's blue skies all the way through the morning, lots of sunshine. We'll see some fair weather cloud developing through the afternoon, especially in the west, but it remains bright, all parts dry. That sunshine lifting temperatures up to a very respectable 9 Celsius with a moderate westerly wind. Further ahead then onto Friday, more in the way of cloud, especially across the Pennines, where there could be a little drizzle. Elsewhere, it's dry, and then the weekend looking very promising, dry and bright with some sunshine, and it will be mild, 12 or 13 degrees is possible on Saturday afternoon. That is the forecast.
Can't wait to see a picture of your axe wings.
Yes, indeed.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Paul, a fountain of knowledge. That's it from us. Keely's here with your late news. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye from all of us.